Well, hello, welcome back to On Second Thought. Today we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to be a parent and toddler.
Please help me. It's exhausting. I mean, I said this last week. I'll probably say it every time I have somebody come up to me that has a toddler. I'm like, yes, you're tired. You're tired. I know that. You're physically exhausted. You're mentally exhausted, and you cannot control these people.
Welcome back to On Second Thought. Thanks so much for being here today, where the star of the show is Stephanie Perdue. Everyone wants to know, what about all these little kids that we had way back in the day, and how did we train them? How do we discipline them? How do we lead them, guide them, and not end up killing them along the way? So we've been talking about, in Season 3, little kids. We've talked about babies, and now today,
how you would just go to sleep and leave
watch
me up all
it
night.
now. Oh, my word.
Okay,
I'm going to quit the podcast over.
You're going to quit. You're right.
Yeah, I'm going to quit the podcast. Hey, you know one thing I did this week? I've never done this before. I went back to, we have Apple products, so I went and looked on our podcast. People have actually given us reviews. Did you know that?
I did.
You did?
I did.
I had no idea. Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I thought you were looking.
Yeah, we've got people giving us reviews,
Mm-hmm.
and most of them have been really, really positive. Most of them is what I suspected. They really like you. Like, you could handle this, and I could just, I could go to sleep and let you have it all on your own, like I've done in the past.
And then I would cry and be like, please help me.
So today we are going to transition a little bit from talking about little babies, infants, to talking about toddlers. And let's just...
Now they have teeth.
No.
I love little babies.
You loved the toothless smile.
I did.
You really did.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I would say is, this is kind of broad because we'll get to some specifics. We really tried to avoid the, oh, these are the terrible twos. Oh, these are the terrible threes. You know, to me, sometimes that was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, oh, I heard the twos are terrible and the threes are terrible. And look, yeah, are they starting to try to figure out?
I think it should be the tiring twos, the tiring threes. Like, you're just tired.
Well, we even, and this was probably
the super tired newborn stage leads into the super tired 2-year-old stage.
We tried to change it a little bit and say, instead of calling it a terrible twos, call it a terrific twos. Some of it wasn't terrific. Some of it was challenging and difficult. Some of it was...
It's exhausting. I mean, I said this last week. I'll probably say it every time I have somebody come up to me that has a toddler. I'm like, yes, you're tired.
Yeah.
You're tired. I know that. You're physically exhausted. You're mentally exhausted, and you cannot control these people.
I saw a lady at the we were playing soccer the other night, so I saw her at the fields, and her baby was crying, and she was just kind of like, oh. I was like, I would be happy just to take your baby and walk around. And she's like, really? I mean, we're not like super close, but we know each other. I mean, it's not like a weirdo. Like, hey, let me take your kid. You know, she knows who I am, and we know who they are. And she's like, no, it's fine. I said, no, really, like anytime. Because when you're not in that stage anymore, it's not as big a deal to say, hey, let me just carry the baby around. But when you're the one that's carrying the baby all the time, and you have to hear the fussing all the time, and you have to deal with it all the time, it does get tiring to your brain.
Yes.
But I did think it was important for us not to label that, oh, here we go, it's the terrible twos. And because one is, I think it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, but two is, I think that it's also, it gives parents an excuse to let their kids behave in a certain way. Well, that's just the way they are because they're in their terrible twos or their terrible threes. I feel like the threes were more difficult than the twos for us.
I feel like the fours were just as bad as the twos and threes. I feel like until
the
you get to 5.
Fours?
Yeah, I'm like, until you get to 5, I don't think there's any difference. They just get, like, they're able to talk more.
There's certainly a difference when it comes to their personality.
Yes.
The kids that were easier at 2 were easier at 5. The kids that were harder at 2 were probably harder at 5 and 15 and, you know, all the things. So let's have some fun to start out with. We kind of teased this a little bit. Everybody wants to know. So we have 5 kids. Our oldest is 10.
And they're all potty trained.
They are all potty trained. So
All
I do
of
want to
them.
go on record as to say they're all potty trained. So how about that?
Bless the Lord, they are all potty trained.
So we were strategic about this. We planned a little bit of everything. When I say we, I mean you.
I'm trying not to be like, we planned all of this. Like, we read all of the books.
Yes.
We planned it. Okay,
we
we're
are
good.
one, remember?
We are.
Yes,
we are
one.
Yes.
No longer 2, but 1.
Yes.
So we were strategic because you were planning and, hey, here's when we potty train, here's how we potty train. And, we potty trained fairly early, I think, in today's
I don't even know what today's standards are. I just was really tired of
but
diapers.
We've had parents like, we're still in diapers. They just won't do it, and and you're like, are we going into the fabulous fours here with diapers or, what's happening? So, and look.
And I swear
there's always a caveat.
Yes,
the caveat
there is. I feel like we always have to say
there
that.
are medical things sometimes that
yes.
This is for the normal, don't have medical issues, those sorts of things that and it worked for all 5 of our kids. So inquiring minds want to know.
This is not unique to me.
7 days.
7 days and $75
method.
That's
what
it.
is the 7-day $75 method for potty training? And about what time would you potty train our kids?
So you can actually...
would we potty train?
We would do it. It's funny because I actually potty trained one when you got on a plane and went to Mexico. So I planned it all around you not being home. So anyway, so it's 7 days. Your kid will be potty trained.
For that, when you started breastfeeding, you got used to me being away. So it's just
you were just so gone all the time. Not really at all, but I felt like it was easier. So that will make way more sense once I tell you, because you being gone made it easier just to stay home. So we planned it out 7 days to be mostly at home, and they are given a big oversized t-shirt, and that's all they wear for like 7 days.
No diaper,
no underwear, no
pull-ups.
No
we never did pull-ups.
We did pull-ups at night. You're way ahead of me on this story. We didn't do pull-ups.
Would you like me to walk out and go to Mexico so you can handle this on your own?
No. So anyway, 7 days. So the whole fun thing, you want to know why it's $75? That's so for all the cleaning products to clean up your carpet after you've had 7 days of your kid running around your house with no diapers on. But so what I would do, because I don't think there are very few children that are going to walk up to you and go, man, I can't wait to go to the potty. Like, it's just not a thing. So you began training them and training yourself. Mainly you train yourself to start taking them to the potty. I would start by letting them drink apple juice or water or milk, set a timer every 20 minutes. We'd go sit on the potty. They may or may not go to the potty, and then you reset the timer. So they started hearing the timer, you run to the potty, may or may not go. So then finally everybody goes pee in the potty, and life is just fabulous.
It's like ringing the bell for Pavlov's dogs.
Yes, it's just fabulous. So in some cases they got 1 Skittle for every time they went to the potty. And then there's going number 1. No, going number 2 definitely is...
Wait. Sometimes we put Cheerios in there and let the boys aim.
That was a little bit later. Most of our boys, we had 2. Our 2 boys, by the time when we were potty training them, they were a little bit too short to reach.
You got a stool.
So we reached. Anyway, but yes, so to teach aim, we definitely used Cheerios.
Yeah, because teaching aim is essential.
So that's a whole nother.
That's one. They are potty trained, but I don't know if they know how to aim yet.
Yes, so typically I would start looking for signs of when to potty train, and the first one that I would start looking for is when they would go and hide to go potty.
They knew what was happening.
Yeah, they would go hide behind something when they were, I hate it, but like pooping. So when they started to go hide, I felt like...
Austin's going to put an E on this podcast now that you're talking about...
Number 2, when they would take a bowel movement in their diaper. So those were different signs I started looking for, and you just have to suck it up as parents and be like, it's time, and it's time to be inconvenienced for about...
It is inconvenient.
Potty training is super inconvenient because you have to... Anyway, so I'll get there. My little tips, I'll give you some. And so anyway, ultimately, like... I said this last week, I didn't think that I was a mean person by making them sit on the potty when they didn't want to.
Right.
So I would, and we would maybe sit there, and some urologists may not agree with me, but I would let them sit there and I'd read a book to them, because nobody wants to go number 2 in the potty. Like, I don't know if they think that it's going to eat their bottoms or something. I don't really know why they don't want to release into the toilet, but they don't.
That's a bigger deal than number 1 for sure.
Yes, for sure. I did not do a little potty beside the big potty because I did not want to clean that. That was one of my reasons for potty training. as I didn't want to have to dump anything into the potty. So we got a little potty seat to sit on top of our big toilet. Right. So anyway, that's just kind of the way I did it. And Bob the Builder. And most of my children were potty trained in 3 days. But I use that term loosely because I still had to remind them, let's go potty before we go somewhere. Let's try to go potty. So it was definitely still a work in progress for about 6 months. It takes about 6 months for them to come to you and go, I need to go potty. Up until that point, you do spend a lot of time. Yeah, you spend a lot of time. Like, I think we need to go potty. Let's just go try.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're going to.
Yeah. I mean, and so
you don't really give your kid that, like, you don't want to? Okay, let's validate your feelings.
Well, potty training, they kind of start they understand the urges. So anyway, that gets a little bit easier and a little bit better.
All right, about what age? So the kids are a year old. Are they 2? Are they 12? Like, when did you do this?
Most of mine were potty trained between 19 to 22 months. So 22 months was the latest, and the earliest was 18 months. And so, funny story is I was really tired of potty training by the time I got to Caroline. And I was going to be one of those parents that were just like...
She's number 5.
She's number 5. I'm going to just let her tell me herself. I don't care if she's 3 or 4. I just don't care. I don't feel like potty training. It's just so much work. Sadie comes to me when Caroline is 18 months old and goes, she is ready. She is ready to go potty, and she goes and starts putting Caroline on the potty.
Like 3, yes, 3.5, 4, maybe?
I don't know, but Sadie decides to potty train Caroline for me at like 19 months.
And she did.
Yes.
Like,
but she made me like go to work and potty train
She would sit on a stool.
Yes.
In the bathroom.
Yes,
and
read
put Caroline,
books to Caroline
on the toilet. Yes. And she would read to Caroline. Yes. And Caroline was potty trained by her sister.
Yes, yes. I mean, I helped some. And then sometimes Sadie would go get like a little iPad and be like, you want to watch a show? And she'd let her watch a show while she was pottying. So, I don't know. By the time you have 5 kids, I guess somebody else will potty train them for you.
There you go. Hey, that's an encouragement to have lots of kids and somebody else will potty train them later on. So.
Maybe one of my other kids will teach Caroline how to drive too. So I don't know. Anyway,
if Sadie was born first, she'd have probably potty trained all of them.
She may have. So anyway, that's kind of just like the potty training. I mean, at night we did so. Out of 5 of them, 2 of them were completely when they were potty trained. They were completely potty trained through the night.
That's others, pretty rare.
Yeah, the others.
Immediately.
Yes, but here's the thing: they would stand up in their crib and yell for me to come get them out and take them to go potty. I plead the fifth. And so anyway, so they would yell like, I gotta go potty. So we take them. Others, they were pull-ups for about a year or so. Maybe a little bit longer at night. Just because they were deep sleepers and just
we tried. One of the things like people ask, and this is practical, right? Yeah. They're like, hey, what do you think about pull-ups? You know, is that a great way to transition from diapers to like a, underwear or whatever? And I think we just kind of decided, and this is, I mean, golly, you're not going to find a Bible verse about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I think we just kind of decided, like, if we're potty training, we just wanted to go from diapers to, regular instead of trying to, I mean, the difference between pull-up is you pull them up, but it's still a diaper. It's still there to, for them to.
And people are going to ask how I handled church. So at church, I would take them to go potty before I put them in class, come back in between and just pray that nothing happened in between. Mm-hmm. So I would come before I dropped them off for their life group hour. I'd take them to go potty. And then in between church, a lot of times I would, and I mean, nursery workers, like the first 2, we were not even here. And so I had fantastic people that helped potty train there with them. So I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and I mean there were some times where it was like, hey, here's a bag of clothes.
Yes.
We had an accident.
Yes.
And that happens. And I mean,
so a few little tips to talk about clothes. Always have at least 2 extra set of clothes in your car, just packed up. Replace them all the time because you're going to need them. And I always had a little potty that stayed in the back of my car because when I traveled, when we went out to eat, we went to restaurants, anywhere, we would sit them on the potty in the back of the car so that we didn't have to go into public restrooms and have to deal with sitting on the toilet or having to do all of those things. So I kept a little potty in the back. They were much more they were happier to go on their frog potty than
The frog potty.
the frog. The frog was in my car for a long time.
Let me ask you this. This is a little bit different than potty training, but there are some kids that won't go when you're like, hey, it's time to go. And then are like, no, I gotta go, when it's an inconvenient time. And it's almost a way for them to start controlling a situation. It's almost a way for them to kind of show like, nope, I'm not going to go when you tell me to. Mm-hmm. And I am going to say, oh, I got to go when it's like the most difficult time. And I'll give you an example, like Sunday night church. We had Sunday night church for a long time, and our kids were little. And by the time they were 4, they were in Sunday night church, right? Or is it 3 or 4? It was 4. We would say, you're going to the bathroom before church. You're not getting up. You're not leaving. You have to be, like your eyeballs need to be floating for there to be like a really like, oh, I gotta go and to get up and disturb church. So some kids sometimes potty training initially is not this obedience disobedience thing. It's training. It's learning how to function as a contributing member of society and not be a weirdo. Okay, so ultimately some kids will take that and turn it into this, I'm going to control this, and I'll be able to control my mom and my dad, and, I'll be able to control the situations. At some point, as they're older, 4 or 5, it does become a little bit more of an obedience issue, especially if you think your kids start controlling, like, well, hey, this is an important dinner. We need to go potty first. Well, I don't need to. I don't know. Like, you're like, well, we're going to go anyway.
Yeah.
We
I
still
didn't
do
really
that.
have that. We
still do that a little bit. Like, hey, everybody, we're about to get in the car. We're going to be there, in an hour and a half. Everybody go to the bathroom. Like, we still do that. But I go to the bathroom before we go, so we don't have to stop.
Well, yeah, and I think kids that are more defiant about potty training, you probably waited a little bit later to start potty training them. Whereas I feel like we started potty training them early enough they didn't really know what was going on.
Pretty early.
And just this one's free. I took pacifiers away the day they turned 18 months old because I never wanted them to name it. And so if they named it, they could ask me for it. And so I just took the pacifier away before they could name it.
Tell them what you did.
Oh, I just cut the ends and
just cut the little
and
pacifier
I left them all
part.
in there. I cut a little pacifier about, and then I had one kid throw it at me and say, "It don't work," and I was like, "Well, I don't know what it is." So anyway, but that's the way I did pacifiers too. I was very strategic about taking things away, but like I said, 3 hard days, and it happens. None of my kids still have a pacifier either. Yeah, they're all potty trained and they don't have a pacifier.
That's pretty impressive.
Past
considering
18 months,
4 of them are teenagers, so it's good.
They do all have their water bottles, which I think are like pacifiers at this point.
I agree.
All right. Sitting at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
So we always sat down as a family. Now, we are in 400 different directions now because of different life. But for years and years, we would sit down as a family. The high chair would be at the table with us. Everybody sat down. We all ate together. And we all ate what was provided.
Right.
Like
there were no special meals.
There were no special meals. There was no special food for you. Like there are certain
you want
kids.
Kraft mac and cheese today? Okay, we'll make that for you instead.
Well, there are certain kids that like hate corn. Well, I didn't make them eat.
We didn't force them to eat their least favorite foods.
Yes,
but we ate what we ate as a family all together.
And I always made them take, even if they didn't like it, I made them take however many bites they were old.
That's right.
And then one to grow on. And if they didn't like it, they didn't have to eat any more of it. So that's kind of how we did dinner. And then we all sat together until we were all done, even the baby, whoever the baby was. If it was a 6-month-old, we may have held the baby in our lap for a little bit to help. But the rest of the time, they would sit in the high chair until we were all done. And then we would all be done. And
I think that's a big deal because even today, there are a lot of kids, teenagers even, that have not learned how to be bored. Even I don't have a screen in my face.
Yeah.
I'm not actively doing something. My job right now is to sit here and participate or be a part of this family. I'm done eating. Like I don't like it even today. And we're in 12 different directions per kid. That somebody just gets up and bolts right after. No. Y'all sit down. Like, it's more rare now that we have the time to sit around a table just based
absolutely.
on games and practices. And I mean, everybody's all over the place. We do that when we can. And when we do that, it's, nope, I'm glad you're done. You eat your food very fast, like a wild animal, just devouring your food. But you're going to sit here while we talk as a family, while other people are eating. And you can start that at a very young age. Like, kids don't know how to be bored. Kids don't know how to
our dinner table was never bored.
But I don't...
boring or quiet.
I know, but what I mean is...
Was it quiet, dear?
No. To a 6-month-old, a 9-month-old, a 12-month-old, an 18-month-old, that's a boring thing to have to sit there and not be actively engaged. That's what I mean.
Until you threw peas in their mouth.
That was fun.
Yes.
And
that's where you came awake.
I got them...
You woke up then.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I got them to eat peas. I never played basketball, so we did end up with a lot of peas on the floor because
blueberries.
Yes, but
blues.
But I would make, sometimes you want them to eat English peas, and you got to be like, hey, can you catch this with your mouth?
Yes.
And you just start throwing. We have video of that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But we did try to teach them how to sit still when you're done. We had sign language for all done, and they would say all done, and you say, well, that's very good. We're going to sit here. And we're going to stay until everyone is done.
Yes.
And give them a job to do when everything's done. They've got a little tray or a plate that was on their high chair. Okay, take this with me. All right, give it to me. Like, teach them that it's not just all about my whims and my demands. And, oh, I'm done. It's all about me. See you later. Because the reality is if you train a toddler that it's all about them, you'll have a teenager that it's all about them. You'll have an adult that's narcissistic and self-centered, and it's all about them. And so you have to teach them that life's not all about you. Even though you're done, everyone's not done. And there'll be a moment where everyone is done, and you can help participate in cleaning up and helping.
Well, and just sitting. We played a lot. Like, we would play games at the table, too. We practiced spelling words. We would, like, one of our kids always said, let's play a game. Let's play a game. We did I Spy at the table.
Oh, my gosh.
What else did we play? We
I
played
think they cheated with I Spy. I spy something black. Is it that? No, it's not that. Something else.
Yes.
So
well,
we played high-low. Like, tell us the high point of your day.
Yes.
What was the best part of your day?
Yes, there's a new one now, high-low buffalo.
High-low buffalo?
Yeah. What's your high? What's your low? What's, like, the wildest thing that happened? That's
buffalo?
your buffalo.
I haven't heard about that.
Yes, high-low buffalo.
High-low buffalo.
Yes. So you can make dinner time fun and, like, engaging.
But it doesn't have to be.
You build that communication. So, we were just teaching them to just be still and
sit, but have fun,
conversation. Eat with your fork.
Yeah, not your hands.
And your
Don't
knife.
be throwing food down either. We were big on that.
Yes.
So there's a theme, kind of an overarching idea that kind of runs through what we've been talking about, and that is training, right? So every moment really is an opportunity to train. You train your kids to go to the bathroom appropriately when they're little. We trained them to not have a pacifier past 18 months. We trained them how to sit at a table and learn to be bored and participate with the family and catch peas in their mouth, all the things. We trained them. But
was it always easy?
Oh my gosh, no. But the Bible talks about in Deuteronomy, like, the training and instruction is supposed to happen as you go about life, right? It's when you walk in the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. These days, if God was writing Deuteronomy 6 today, he'd say, when you're at the ball field, when you're in the car, when you're at church, when you're in the house, all the things. Every moment should be an opportunity for training. And we talked about how training is proactive, intentional, instructional, and discipline is reactive and correctional. And both are important because the Bible says you're to raise your kids in the discipline and the instruction. The older versions say the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. And so that training definitely is spiritual instruction, but it's also practical, teaching them how to function in society as a human being in a proper and appropriate way. And, we want our kids to function as proper human beings, but it's got to be more than that. It has to be more than just, oh, well, they're good citizens and they contribute to society and they make good grades and they have volunteer hours. It's got to be more than that, right? There's got to be the Jesus component. Because I don't really care if our kids are good citizens and if they make good grades and if they have volunteer hours.
We do care if you make good grades.
As if they don't follow Jesus. I was going somewhere with that. If they don't follow Jesus.
There's one of them that will only hear that first part.
Yeah, well, all of that stuff's important, but the most important thing is Jesus has to be the center of their lives.
Absolutely.
All right. So today, I think you like surprising me with rapid fire questions. You're making faces like...
Because I don't know of any good ones.
Okay.
I'll find one. Well, I don't know. Who's your favorite superhero? Let's see if I would know.
Who's my favorite superhero?
It's either Captain America or Hulk.
Captain America.
Oh. Well, that's what I would have thought first.
Well,
if you could be a secret spy, what would your name be?
I wouldn't have a name. It'd be a secret.
What's your favorite workout? Working out the door of the gym.
Working out a way not to go to the gym is my favorite kind of workout. How about you? What's your favorite workout? Legs. I want to do squats.
Yeah, I am. I don't really like...
I killed my quads today. It was so great. I'm like, that does not sound great to me at all.
No, we were at the gym this morning. You sent me a text. I hate this place.
True story. Because I do. I'm like, why am I here?
I don't understand that.
It's awful.
I'm like, it's my favorite. It's not my favorite place, but it is nice.
Oh, you have that on. You have that recorded now, right?
I just said it's not my favorite place. How do you... Never mind.
Okay.
What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Trying to get you to go out with me, I guess. I'm like, hey, I'm interested in you.
Okay.
Good. Hey, I really like you. Okay. Hey, will you marry me? Maybe.
Oh, my word. That's so ridiculous. That's so ridiculous.
The biggest risk. That's a tough one.
It's deep.
I feel like just being a dad is all kinds of risk.
But nobody tells you that when you're like, oh, I want to have a lot of babies.
I went skydiving.
Yes.
But you won't let me go again.
I will.
When?
The youngest child is 18.
Because you think I'm going to die? Like, what does it matter if the child's 18 or not?
I don't know.
She'll be older to be sadder. I knew him for 18 years instead of 10. So I should be able to go any day now.
Go. Just go. Go jump out of a perfectly good airplane. But you're going to get sick before it even gets off the ground. So
this is like when your wife is like, sure, go ahead. Guys, that does not mean, sure, go ahead. It's like, I dare you. So that's what you're hearing there, just in case you're not able to
never threatened you.
Interpret that. They're not threats, promises.
And so today we are going to end this podcast as I threaten Jim's life.
You're threatening me to like save my life, I guess. So
yes,
maybe that is true love.
I'm giving you boundaries.
I just want to go.
You may not
again.
jump out of a perfectly good airplane until our youngest child is 18, and then you can do it every day.
Really?
Sure.
You let me do it when I was 30.
We probably should not say that you did this.
Great with child.
All right, let's.
Why should we not say that I went skydiving?
Oh my goodness! Life insurance policies.
It's on our social media, so. Life insurance policies. All right.
It's been a great day.
It is hot in this room. Thanks so much for joining us today on the podcast On Second Thought. We are grateful that you've been with us as we just enjoy hearing from Stephanie Perdue and all of her wonderful wisdom. Thanks so much for adding us to your weekly routine. Thanks for subscribing.
Thanks for all those reviews from January 1st that Jim's just now reading.
The reviews that I'm finally getting to, and for letting your friends know about the podcast. So God bless you guys. We'll catch you next time.